But I think it is fair to say it was a voluntary resignation. In terms of why would we accept it, anyone who chooses to resign, of course will accept that. That's one of the things that happens. I know we didn't get into this, but there were some timing questions in terms of how that all works and some implications that were we trying to do something behind the scenes. It was acted upon very much in the regular time that it would have taken. I believe the resignation was submitted on Monday prior to spring break. The board cannot set a meeting to act on anything without posting it for a full 2 days. So that put it at Thursday, which is the earliest that the board could actually accept the resignation. And that's really all I can say in terms of what the motivation was and why you have to talk to that person.
Okay, Melissa, I saw you next.
I just want to make a comment, I guess, Dr. Roberts, and kind of ask for your understanding of how I am supposed to explain this to my kids, because you've indicated in so many different ways that there was no malice, there was no intention to do something wrong. Yet, so it's a poor decision. And so we terminate somebody because somebody made a poor decision. Well, okay, I'm sorry. We have somebody resign because of a poor decision instead of maybe, so am I teaching my kids that when they make mistakes, that the consequences could be as severe as this? Do you know what I'm saying?
Did everybody hear that? Yes? Okay.
Again,
And I'm only going off with the press, the press release that was distributed and the newspaper articles with your comments, and then your comments tonight, because it seems like in one breath you say it was a mistake, poor judgment, that kind of thing, and then in the next, it's...
I understand the inconsistency that you see in that, but I can't go into what I learned in interviews with folks that allowed me to say, okay, we'll accept it. I can't do that.
Okay, yes, right in the middle. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a question, if you can expand on the scenario in which they were doing the erasing or whatever it was that they were doing, because when I read through the testing procedure, I see a lot of different scenarios here and a lot of remedies that are laid out. And some of the remedies are the staff member should erase completely the responses that are written in the wrong section. Was it that type of scenario? There's something in here about having a second staff member independently verify. I mean, I can find these types of remedies throughout this book, but they are specific to a scenario. Can you tell us what the scenario was?
The scenario was that the specific rules of that text don't allow for folks to be called to an office to do it outside of the testing time, to do it in a manner that it was done here, based on the testimony of the folks that I spoke to. There are different sections of that booklet that do permit even some longer time for certain students. The transgressions we found were in violation of the specific rules of that book.
Okay.
Briefly, you referred earlier to some sanctions that could, I guess, befall the school. And what might those be?
Well, I can't speak for ISBE, but in the past have disallowed scores of youngsters who were involved in it. They could, as I said, take away the certification of folks, and in that case would not only have a principal's resignation, but without a certification, you have at least one additional member of the staff that could no longer be employed.
But just to clarify, in terms of a sanction against the school itself?
That was the statement that was made. I mean, those sanctions you referred to
School.
affect the individuals. I'm
Right.
wondering, is there some kind of a
No.
sanction to the school
No.
itself?
That's what I'm saying.
When I was referring to school, I think of the school as the kids and staff.
And then just a follow-up, other than the two people that you interviewed, one of whom was Ms. Kumar, I'm sorry, other than the two people you interviewed, one of whom was obviously Ms. Kumar, is there anybody else that is implicated, alleged to have done anything wrong, participated in the wrongdoing?
No.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, hi, I'd like to know what is the board doing or the district doing to ensure that the other individuals who's potentially affected here is going to be treated fairly by the Illinois State Board of Education?
Did everybody hear that question? If you would repeat that question, please.
I think we, from my vantage point, we've assisted by taking prompt action, but we have the investigation that ISB does as a result of our report is entirely in their hands. We have nothing to do with their assessment.
Okay, yes, woman in the aqua shirt.
Right there, that's, okay, you know, the ISB investigation, will the results be public? And what if it turns out that they say, you know what, it wasn't wrong? Then what do we do?
Okay, and Dr. Roberts, may I ask you to repeat the question maybe before you answer it, just to make sure everybody can hear?
It was the, what happens if the ISB report comes back and they
Is
say
it
that
public, and what if it comes back that they say it wasn't, you know, it was just a small infraction or whatever?
once we receive the report, we will make it available to the best possible. When I say that, if there are students' names, obviously we're not going to, we'll deal with the privacy issues, but we will let the community know what the results of that report are. There's no doubt that they're going, in my mind's eye, based on what we were told by them in terms of the violations, the kinds of things that were reported to them, they said, yeah, that's a violation. This could, I don't see that as being